What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Radiovania, episode number 48, your Nerdy Public Radio for all things entertainment and pop culture. My name is Zach Rotello, and sitting across from me is John Swansong Parker.
What's going on, Radiovaniaites?
Not much. What's going on with you? Am I a Radiovaniaite if we're hosting the show?
No.
No? Okay, what am I?
You're like the queen alien.
Okay.
And I'm like the head worker alien, you know?
Right.
Who hasn't been killed by Sigourney Weaver somehow.
Is Cal Ripley?
Yeah, he could be Ripley.
He's trying to take us down.
I think he should be Ripley or like a Hudson, spoilers, that doesn't get eaten. That'd be pretty cool. You know?
Spoilers for a movie that came
Put
out
her in
30
charge. Yeah. R.I.P. Bill Paxton.
Yeah. If you've never listened to an episode of Radiovania before, we thank you very much for dropping by. The premise is very simple. We talk about entertainment, pop culture, and all the fun stuff about that. So movies, video games, comics, television, sports, blah, 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 blah. Anything that there is to deal with about pop culture. And this week we've got a really special show for you because we're coming off of San Diego Comic-Con, maybe the most important week every year for our show. Yeah.
Second
to
tied
E3.
with E3.
Yeah. So, we didn't have any crazy plans. We didn't watch any of the conferences and then do post shows or pre shows just due to schedules and everything like that. But we're coming here to you with this show. It's going to be a doozy, but we got a lot to talk about, and I am very excited personally.
As am I.
To dive into all the different stuff we have. We're going to talk a little bit about Dunkirk. We're going to talk about all the new Marvel stuff. We're going to talk about the DC drama and announcements, and then we've also got a bunch of video game stuff. So we got Nintendo, we got Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, and we might have some fun stuff thrown in there in the mix. But if you want to follow the show, you can do so in many of ways. You can go to @Radiovania on Twitter or go to radiovania.com. Click the red subscribe button if you want to see more of our content. And we want to thank everyone who sat through last week. We had some mic troubles. We were very excited about the audio quality. I'm pretty sure the quote was, it was going to be a drastic improvement in audio quality.
And it wasn't.
It wasn't, unless you're a big fan of Phil Collins.
Then it was.
Then it was definitely. If you like In the Air Tonight.
Who doesn't like that
Who
song?
doesn't like that song?
That's a great song.
It was just an hour podcast of that and no drum riff.
Yeah.
But
disappointing.
Yes.
But it's okay. So we got it. We got a system
Yeah.
so that when we're in person together, we're going to do it the old-fashioned way, and then we still have two mics to be able to do stuff apart once we go to our new lives starting here in a couple weeks, as well as doing our solo projects and stuff. So everything works out fine to continue to give you guys the best possible content that we can deliver.
Yep. And do you have a status report on The More You Know with John Parker?
First episode of The More You Know featuring the Batman animated series. Will be on Leather Wings. We're going to go with the very first one that is in the DVD package. More news to follow. I've got it all prepped and ready to go. I just need to record the commentary. But I got everything that I want to say.
Awesome.
And get it going. I'm very excited.
I'm very excited to start editing that too. Yeah. So
for those of you that are a big fan of that show, I'm basically just going to be going in order of the Warner Brothers DVD thing because the air dates don't make as much sense because the two-parters are split by like 14 episodes based on when they aired. It's very complicated. So we're just going to stick with the DVD releases, which is how it's on Netflix and everything else anyway. So.
Wait, BTOS is on
not
Netflix?
on Netflix.
Oh, it's on Amazon, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you guys don't have Prime yet, is it available? It's available on Prime, right?
It's I think the first season or maybe and that's what I'll be going through first anyway.
Okay, cool.
The DVDs are really cheap now too. You could just get like the whole set for $20, I want to say.
Cool.
So,
well, if you're excited for John's The More You Know segments about Batman the Animated Series, feel free to go and purchase that or find a way to stream it and so you can follow along with him. But now that we're done with Mike Gate 2017, I want to get your opinion on Dunkirk. So we won't talk about this very long and no spoilers here because I'm about to see it tonight.
Absolutely no spoilers.
But we did want to hit on it since it is the number one movie right now. Killed the weekend. In fact, I'm going to look up the box office. Do you remember what that thing drew in? I know it came in at number one. Let me double check up here.
Yeah, it's it was a powerhouse. I mean, Christopher Nolan always gets people's asses in seats.
Yeah,
now that,
I mean, just the name.
Yeah, after the Dark Knight trilogy came to its culmination, with Inception, Interstellar, and Dunkirk now, he's always putting people in the theater. And that's, just because he's now a household name and stuff.
Yeah.
Cool.
Took in about 50.5 million in North American theaters.
That's solid.
20% more than analysts had expected, and obtained an additional 55.4 million in partial overseas releases, and it only cost 100 million to make. So it's already made its money back first weekend. John, what'd you think
of Dunkirk?
Yeah.
It's a beautifully shot movie. Christopher Nolan is obviously using all the tools that he has at his disposal.
Tricks of the trade.
Disposal. He's at the height of his power in terms of just pure filmmaking, you know? And the way that he tells stories is so iconic through various twists and turns. And, we've seen it in movies like The Prestige and Inception and stuff like that. There's a lot of time jumps going on and things. So that's pretty great. And I really enjoyed it. Shelby and I went and saw it the other night. There is a lot of great character moments in a war movie, which is something, that unless you've seen like a Saving Private Ryan or something, can sometimes be pretty lacking. But it's very good. So
okay.
I'm looking forward to hearing what you think about it. It's an interesting story. It's a part of World War II that not everybody really knows that much about, because this is a World War II movie that isn't focused on an American protagonist or protagonists with like a team or something like that. Mm-hmm. So, but all the actors really bring it. It's awesome.
What is your opinion on? My thoughts on my excitement towards the movie is that I'm excited to see it because it's Chris Nolan, and I know that his pedigree is fantastic. So I'm the guy you're talking about,
right?
But I'm also not the biggest fan of war movies in general. How do you think this is going to affect my experience of the movie?
It's not your normal war movie.
Okay,
yeah, you're gonna love it.
Cool. I'm glad to hear that.
We'll talk more about it after you see it, but if you guys haven't seen Dunkirk yet, I highly suggest checking it out. I know July's had a lot of big releases with Spider-Man, Baby Driver, War for the Planet of the Apes, and Dunkirk, but I highly suggest you see all four of those.
I've seen a movie every week.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward. I'm definitely going to try and see Baby Driver this week.
Yeah, we got to go.
I want to talk to you about that after the show, about when we can go see that.
For sure, yeah. So that's our Dunkirk talk, and now moving on. John, you ready for our Game of Thrones fun fact of the week?
Yes.
That was too quiet. That was really quieter than I thought. Yeah. John, are you ready for our Game of Thrones fun fact of the week?
Yeah! That was good.
All right, cool. This comes from user Ray-Ban Vision on Reddit.
Ray J.
This comes from RayJJohnson.com. If you have watched every episode of Game of Thrones, John, then you have spent an hour and 33 minutes just watching the intro.
Wow.
Isn't that fascinating?
That is fascinating.
That's an hour and 33 minutes.
I'm not disappointed about that. That's a great intro.
No, it's fine. It's definitely one of the most hype intros in the world.
Do you like that intro, or do you like the Westworld intro better?
Game of Thrones.
Okay.
The music is more iconic. Westworld's cinematography in the intro is way cooler.
Yeah.
But the Game of Thrones music is fantastic.
Yeah.
It was good enough to win it an Emmy for the first season.
Yeah.
Just for the intro, which is pretty impressive when you think about it.
I can't pronounce that guy's name, but it's like Raymond Jawandi or something like that. Anyway, he's a great composer for HBO.
All right. Well, so we're going to jump into the wacky news portion of the show. We usually start the show off with a couple... We're going to start off the show with a couple news topics that might be a little bit out there that aren't our traditional forte, but this is still pop culture.
Let's just cast our nets out into the deep blue sea. Hopefully we don't hit Michael Phelps racing a shark and see what happens.
The first comes from Huffington Post. It says, McDonald's is giving Rick and Morty creator a jug of Szechuan sauce. Justin Roiland, creator of the animated series Rick and Morty, is about to have a 2-decade dream come true. He once again gets to sample McDonald's Szechuan-style dipping sauce. The Asian-style chicken McNugget dipping sauce was made only briefly in 1998 as a part of a promotion for the Disney animated feature film Mulan.
Which is a banger.
But Roiland told a Comic-Con panel on Friday that the fast food giant has promised to deliver him a jug of the sauce next week. They said they plan on sampling the sauce, including any, quote, disappointing reactions, end quote. So feel free to watch. That's going to go up on, I'm assuming, their YouTube page. I don't know how they're going to do it, but it's kind of a funny little... I mean, like, I've never heard of McDonald's really engaging with something like this to this level, you know? Like, they're not really the...
They have more things to worry about.
Yeah, they've got bigger fish to fry.
Yeah.
Mainly the fish fillet.
There's got to be a lot of fans of the show that work for McDonald's, as are there a lot of fans that work everywhere. I'm sure it just came through the grapevine, and they're like,
mostly stoners that watch
this would be a good PR type thing, you know? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I think it's totally cool.
That's a good story. And we're also hyped about that Rick and Morty Season 3.
For sure.
when that drops.
Hashtag Pickle Rick.
Pickle Rick.
I would be shocked if this didn't eventually lead to them bringing it back for a short amount of time.
I think it definitely will.
Because I
hope that we live in a world where there will be Rick and Morty Happy Meal toys.
Oh, that'd be funny.
Because I'm going to go hit that up. I want to get like a... what would be a really cool toy? The Galorpalorps or whatever.
Gazorpazorps.
Gazorpazorps. I think that'd be really cool. Yeah. I'd also want a Jerry toy.
Who's Sarah Chalk voice? The mom? Does she voice the mom?
I think it's the mom.
Okay. Summers? Is that her name?
Yeah. Well, Summer is the daughter.
Oh, then who's the mom? Shelly? Beth.
Yeah.
All right, so
Whack. Great show. If you haven't watched Rick and Morty, do yourself a favor. If you got Hulu or something or Amazon, go check that out because it's it's 10 episodes each season. There's 2 seasons.
It's you could breeze through it in a weekend.
You can get through all 20 in a weekend. It's that good. Mr. Meeseeks, bless up. I saw a pop figure for Mr. Meeseeks, and I almost considered getting a second pop figure because I'm not into collecting those as much as other people are. But I like this Batfleck one that you got me. I'd be down to get a Mr. Meeseeks one too.
I would never collect them. I would just find the ones that I like. Like I wanted to get the Twin Peaks ones when they came out, and the Stranger Things ones looked really cool too. But there's just too many of them, man. Yeah. It's like every time I walk into friggin' Hot Topic, I just see the wall, and I'm like, there must be someone that has all of them. Yeah. And God bless their soul because that's a feat. I think
the coolest looking ones are the ones that aren't people. It's like if they're wearing a mask or if it's an alien, I think those are the most interesting looking ones. It's the same thing with action figures. It's hard to make humans at a good level, but a stormtrooper always looks the same, Like my favorite that I still haven't gotten my hands on that I would totally try and find if I could, but they sold out so fast, was they made extra large ones for Big Daddy and Songbird from BioShock. That's pretty cool. Baby. That really Big cool. Daddy is sweet. It's a Big Daddy. That's a big boy. Who's a big boy? Mr. Bubbles. From TheVerge.com, you ready to pour one out, John? We're not going to actually pour one out. Pour one out into my mouth. We'll metaphorically pour one out into John's mouth. Microsoft Paint is getting killed off in the Windows 10 Fall Creators Update. The era of Microsoft Paint appears to be coming to an end with the upcoming release of the Windows 10 Fall Creators Update. The image editing application is officially being classified by Microsoft as a, quote, depreciated feature, end quote. That means that come this fall, Paint will not be active in development and might be removed in future releases. What are 4th graders across the country? That was my exactly. They're gonna have to resort to coolmath.com. So Paint was a staple in my life when I was a kid, man. Yeah. Was it not for you? Oh yeah, definitely. I use Paint. You want to hear a kind of somber story real quick? Sure. Can we get a little somber? We can get. I used Paint. We made when I was in 1st grade. We made not like get well cards, but like sympathy cards when 9/11 happened, and we used Paint, and we had to, draw something on there because it was during my computer class the day after 9/11 happened. We had to make something, so I think I did like an American flag and an eagle or something like that. But yeah, I mean, Paint goes back as far as I can remember in my educational career and even in my recreational career too. Yeah, so that's kind of sad. It is sad. Stupid Windows. Well, I remember the first computer I had. I have this vivid memory of, I remember we got our first computer that had a DVD drive in it. And I was like so excited that I was able to watch movies on this computer and surf the internet. We had Roadrunner. And so I booted up Paint, and I remember so very clearly listening to, what's the song by Bowling for Soup? Is it, you know what I'm talking about, right? Wait, is it when they redid I'll Stop the World and Melt With You? No. Oh, okay. But they did it for like 1985. Oh. Remember 1985? 1980. Yeah, all right, cut it off. Yeah, we're going to get to copyright strike. Yeah. So I remember listening to that song and painting on Microsoft Paint, and then... Dude, you were angsty. Oh, man, for sure. Oh, man. Did you wear, like, all black? No, was your wallet connected to a chain, yes or no, at any point in your life? Yes. Oh! But it was a Superman wallet. Oh, okay. Well, that's kind of cool. Yeah, and I was like a little kid, so it came with the chain. Of course. Yeah. Superman doesn't need chains. He's the breaker of chains. Man of Steel. All right, so let's jump into Comic-Con. We've had enough time screwing around. So ready to get into this Comic-Con discussion. Let's start off the first thing with the biggest piece of television news, because there's some Defenders stuff that came out that I really don't feel like we need to discuss. Unless you want to dive into that. I finished Westworld, right? I got caught up and I finished it, and we talked about that. That's right, the season 2 trailer. I'm looking to get into a new show, and I think I'm finally going to buckle down and watch Daredevil. It's been in my queue for
forever,
like a year and a half, 2 years. So I'm ready to start checking that out. But yeah, for fans of Marvel TV, The Defenders is like, they're...
Wait. What about Mr. Robot?
Yeah, that's on there too.
There's a lot of things. You're not going to get to Robot till 2019.
There's a lot of things on there. I mean, I don't know. We'll get there.
You got to get to it before the season 3 because I'd like to watch it with someone.
When does it start?
Probably this fall.
I'm going to be up in Cuyahoga. So...
I can still... We could watch it with Skype. We could...
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
Long-distance relationship, that is.
We'll talk. All right. Anyway, moving on. The Defenders is like, the TV Avengers, basically.
Okay.
It's like B-team Avengers.
Yeah, Jessica Jones.
Actually, it's C-team, because right now the B-team is the current Avengers team, because everybody's across the galaxy, apparently. But yeah, we got Jessica Jones, Daredevil, what's his face? Iron Fist, and Luke Cage. So I definitely want to check out Daredevil and Luke Cage before the Defenders, but... I'm kind of iffy about watching Iron Fist for sure. And Jessica Jones, I would like to watch eventually. I know you said you watched it, right?
Yeah, I got to the last 2 episodes and I just fell off. It wasn't for me.
Yeah, I'm all in on Sigourney Weaver, so I'll definitely want to get checking out the Defenders eventually.
Yeah. So, what was I going to say?
I mean, I was a big fan of that trailer of Daredevil wearing like the T-shirt as the thing that covers up his face, because... That just reminds me of The Man Without Fear, Frank Miller book.
Daredevil starts out really strong.
Yeah.
Really enjoy the first few episodes.
I've heard it's really good, and I've heard the Kingpin is dank.
Yeah, and I was interested in when they did
Punisher,
and I still haven't gotten back to season 2 to check that out.
He's getting his own show now, right?
He is getting his own show.
Interesting.
So we'll see how that goes.
He was, what's his face from Walking Dead?
Yeah, he was...
what's that guy's name?
I don't remember. I've only seen the first season.
Rick's buddy that's banging his wife.
Yeah.
I haven't watched a single episode of The Walking Dead. I just read the book.
Yeah, I watched the whole first season and twice.
Shane.
His
name's Shane.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
he did.
The Westworld season 2 trailer did come out as well.
Yeah.
Wasn't too impressed.
I mean,
I thought it looked okay.
They probably just started filming stuff, so it's like, throw whatever you got in there so we can have something for the panel.
Yeah.
I like the part with Dolores and Teddy riding on horses just mowing people down in a field. Like, this season's going to get whack.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I mean,
I wasn't not impressed. It didn't show me anything that steered me away from it, but it also didn't show me anything at all. It just showed me, like, hey, Ed Harris
it didn't steer me away from it.
Ed Harris is still in the show. Yeah. All these people are going nuts.
It didn't steer me away from it, but I wasn't any more excited for season 2 as I was before the trailer.
I mean, my favorite part of that little, if you even call it a trailer, was Maeve showing the writer, like, something that, and he's just like, oh my god, because it looks like there's a bunch of dead people or something like that. It'll be good. I like that show very much.
But let's talk about a trailer that we did get hyped about.
Let's talk about it. What is it?
Stranger Things
Hey!
season 2.
Get that. Wait, hold on. I got it.
I got it pulled up here on the thing, but
wait,
running in a loop.
Wait.
What are you gonna do?
Wait.
What are you doing?
Wait, just say Hopper.
Chief Hopper.
Oh, it froze.
Were you gonna try the ham horn? All right, right on the mic. That's gonna. Someone just swerved their car off the road.
No.
So Stranger Things season 2, thriller trailer.
Yeah, a full trailer this time as opposed to these little 20-second things we've been getting.
John, let me tell you, this is one of my more favorite trailers for like pop culture, anything or entertainment, anything that I've seen in quite a long time.
It's well cut.
It's really well cut. It's long. Mm-hmm. And usually I'm not a fan of long, but since there are going to be 10 or 11 episodes, there's, that's like 10 hours of content that you have to choose from. So I know that in 3 minutes of a trailer, I'm not getting a full movie like what happens with Marvel movies or sometimes other like DC movies. They spoil a lot of the big stuff.
Yeah.
You only get a very, very slight glimpse of 11.
It moves fast,
at the very end, it moves really quickly. You get like just enough exposition to kind of get you excited about it. You get this sort of, this question with Will, and you get the first sight of the creature. And what did you think? Did you like the trailer?
I loved it. I liked the period aspect, still really good. Having
so
Thriller
good,
in the
man.
background is great with the voiceover.
Yeah.
It's set in this season's in 1984, right? Because Ghostbusters, they're wearing the Ghostbusters stuff. We got Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Yep. I love the scene they put the ecto chamber on the table. It's like, this is gonna be so good, dude. I'm so excited.
It's gonna be great. I like, they did what a Star Wars trailer does. They show you all your favorite characters. They show you cool stuff. They play music. But otherwise than that, they don't give away anything, you know? Yeah. We all knew 11 was coming back, so if you were mad about them showing that, that's just heinous.
Yeah, I mean, you could be mad that they show her arm poking through into what looks like the real world, but that could also easily be a red herring or easily be some sort of...
Could be somebody else, too.
Yeah, it could be somebody else, that's true.
Yeah.
But I am really liking the direction. There's some beautiful shots in here, and my favorite of the trailer, which I think a lot of people will agree, and I think is like one of the coolest shots I've seen in a while, is Hopper in this like blue tunnel, and it starts to twist upside down like the camera.
That was great.
Oh, yeah. I love that shot. I would get that on a poster frame for sure.
So, question.
Yeah.
Are you going to just binge through the whole thing when it comes out, or are you going to try and pace yourself and just avoid social media?
Nope. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask that day off work, and I think I'm just going to have Stranger Things Day.
It.
Yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised because I'm going to be in my new apartment by then. I'm pretty sure it comes out on a
27th.
On a Friday. Is that a Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
the weekend before Halloween.
I'll probably just ask off that Friday, and then I might throw like a Halloween party at my place. Just have a bunch of people over.
Yeah.
Kill Stranger Things in a day.
Yeah.
Have some festivities, drink.
That'd be cool.
Get some Halloween stuff. But yeah, I want to watch the whole story all the way through to the end. I don't hate the way that Game of Thrones does it, where it's like you have to wait a week for the next show. But like with something like Stranger Things, I watched the first half of that in one day, and then I was like anxious to keep watching it. And like you said, I didn't want to get it spoiled, and so
that's unfortunately the world that we live in. Is that you could want to take your time and pace yourself, but things will get spoiled for you if you have social media. I'll probably just wind up cranking through it as fast as I can, but I also don't have Twitter or anything anymore, so I'm not worried about it getting ruined for me.
Yeah, it's just how often I look at news sites and Reddit and everything like that, and the crowds that I run with. I know people. It's just going
to be too good to not.
Yeah, that's the thing is that like
watch through.
I would like to, there's no real reason to pace yourself, and I find that I get more enjoyment from a show of seeing the full story from beginning to end. Like I think it's more powerful. Like the cliffhanger vibe is definitely great. Like the cliffhanger that I'll remember is the end of episode 4. Stranger Things, slight spoilers, where they think they might have found a boy's body in a certain lake in Stranger Things. That cliffhanger is one of my favorites in the series, but it keeps going once you pick up the next episode. It's not like it's instantly resolved, so I think that being able to watch the story from beginning to end in one day is totally going to be satisfying to me.
I think I don't remember what episode it was, but I think my favorite cliffhanger was when one of the characters enters the Upside Down on accident. At the end of an episode, and it just kind of cuts to it because it's like very high stakes, and it was a very chilling end to an episode horror wise. Ah, man, that show is so good.
So good.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
I'm definitely gonna.
One of my favorite shows ever.
I'm definitely bookmarking that day. As should everybody. But yeah, Stranger Things 2 coming down the pipe.
Oh yeah.
You know it. You love it. Give me that, Dustin. I'm in for it.
All right. So moving on, we got DC. You ready to talk some DC, John?
Yeah, let's talk some DC.
Let's start with the Justice League trailer.
Okay.
So before we jump into all the drama with Ben,
our buddy Ben.
It's just like Ben watch every week.
Every week.
But we got the Justice League trailer. Comes in at about 4 minutes, almost exactly.
It's a juggernaut.
It's a big old trailer. It's got pretty extended opening scenes. Lots of character moments. Stuff like. What did you think?
I liked it a lot. The most recent trailer that we had before this, like where Ben is on the horse at the beginning, was really cool. I like that one a lot. I like this one a lot as well. I think I'm at the same level of being hyped for it, but this one did a lot to show us some cool new stuff, as well as build on the momentum of Wonder Woman. They show her a lot. They show Themyscira a lot. Getting to see Steppenwolf I thought was really cool, and getting to hear kind of what he sounds like was awesome. And then that little tease at the end I thought was really cool too. But in terms of the trailer overall, I liked the character that it shows with all the people that maybe haven't been fleshed out as much in the other trailers, like a Flash or a Cyborg or an Aquaman, as well as getting to see some more J.K. Simmons. I don't know. I thought I would give it a thumbs up. I enjoyed it immensely. I've watched it a couple times since then to try and pick up on a little Easter eggs here and there, but
yeah,
we'll see when it comes out.
I thought it was good. I like a lot of the visuals, but that's never been a problem with me for Zack Snyder movies.
Yeah.
I do have a problem with the length. I think it is too long, and I think that there's a little too much talking. I'm not a huge fan of the way that it's edited. I actually think that and this is proof, I think, that Zack Snyder is not involved, because this does not feel like a Zack Snyder trailer. There's a lot of talking. There's a lot of like jokes before cuts and like action, and the music is a little bit more bombastic. I don't know. I'm of two minds. I like what I see, but I don't necessarily like what I hear. Yeah, and I want to say, if the humor in the movie is anything like what these trailers are kind of letting it up to be, I'm not a huge fan of the way that they're doing it, especially with Flash.
Really? You're not a Flash guy?
I'm not really digging Ezra Miller's take on Flash.
This one turned me on more to his take on the Flash, because it's different than Grant Gustin, so I will be able to keep them separate, which I'm a big fan of. This Flash is acting more like the Wally West in the Justice League cartoon. I thought the comedic timing was cool. I like that part at the end where, you know, Gordon turns around and they're all gone except for Flash because they didn't tell him about it, and he's like, "Oh, wow, they just left. That's kind of rude."
I mean, it's funny, but his delivery, I don't like his delivery there.
Really?
I guess it's just different strokes, but yeah, I know. I don't know. For some reason, it's just he seems forced to me, and that's the vibe that I'm getting from him. But
I don't know. I was a big fan.
Did you watch, he moves his whole body around. Like,
did you watch the panel itself?
No, I didn't get to watch any of the panels.
He's the biggest hype man for this DC stuff. He's a huge, like, neat nerd. He's one of us.
He's young.
Yeah.
I think that's what they've got going for it. And that's obviously the vibe. They're kind of going for, like, the aloof teenager Flash.
I like it.
Yeah.
We'll
see.
There was nothing from this trailer that deterred me any more than the fact that, you know, we got a lot going into it in terms of drama-wise, but I liked seeing all these characters. I love the part where Aquaman is surfing the parademon through the building. I thought that was sweet. And
yeah,
he
that was
lands
really cool.
And kind of shakes it off, you know?
Yep.
Jason Momoa's... I think he's great.
He's obviously... I'm the most excited for his presence in the movie, just because he was not given a fair shake in BVS. He needs more time.
Yeah.
And he needs to speak.
Yeah.
He needs to have extended character interactions, and BVS just put such a bad foot forward with that character, and so I'm excited to see what he does now. But so I like
how they're making Cyborg more robotic. You know, I think that makes total sense. Wonder Woman is obviously steady as she was in her own movie, as well as BVS.
Yep. And I liked how they started the opening scene with like a minute of Wonder Woman. They're just like, we know you like her.
Here you go.
Here you go. Just watch the movie
forward. Yeah,
seriously.
I like how Alfred's kind of like their Jarvis too. I think that's really interesting that he's going to be kind of like the guy in the chair, to quote Spider-Man: Homecoming. You know, for this Justice League team, I think that was really, really cool. No Lois Lane in this trailer, so maybe she's not as big of a key as we thought. You know,
major key.
What'd you think of? I gotta ask you. What'd you think of Steppenwolf? Because I'm in the bag for him, but that's because I'm a deep cuts DC fan, and you're not.
His voice sounds menacing. You don't really get a super clear look at the character design.
Yeah, you don't see his face ever.
So we have to wait to see about that. You really only see like him stand up,
hit people with a giant scythe.
My problem with big CG villains is that they're big CG villains, so we'll see if it's just another Doomsday with a voice, you know?
Okay, what about... I mean, this guy seems a lot like how Thanos is going to be, in my opinion.
I think Thanos is going to be a little bit more animated. This guy seems like droning one-tone voice, like destruction. I think Thanos is going to have a little bit more of like a... I think
they're
he's
very
have
different characters.
Steppenwolf
is the leader of Darkseid's army, so he's going to be very one-tone. He's a general. He has a job that Darkseid gave him, and that's to take over.
Yeah.
I like the voiceover in the trailer, though, where he's talking about no lanterns, no Kryptonian, this planet's mine. You know, like, they don't have these cosmic entities that Darkseid has been worried about, and now that they're out of the way, they're launching this full-scale invasion. It's like, we got to piece together a ragtag group of people. You know, we got a guy wearing a bat suit, a fish guy, I got a kid who can run really fast, a half robot, and then an Amazonian. I think it's a really interesting take on Justice League. You know, it might not be as conventional as normal.
Yeah.
But I think that from what we've seen, I think they're making what they have already in place work pretty well. You know, they kind of buried themselves in a really deep ditch with Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad, but with the addition of Wonder Woman, hopefully this movie, they're kind of digging out from the mistakes they made. Like, you know, maybe it wasn't a good idea to kill off Superman, but they're making it work to the story elements of this movie. How's that going?
I hate when videos autoplay. Especially when it's for DeVry.
DeVry University, kids, is a online university that you can check out if you're looking at getting some stuff. They are an official sponsor of this episode of Radiovania.
No, they're not. Stop. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm just like, I think it's proof of who you are versus who I am. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why we mesh well. Yeah. Right. We're best friend. Yeah. I love you. But the other day when I sent you the Ben Affleck article about the whole, like, they're trying to phase him out, your response was automatically like thinking of what they could do and saying that you were excited. That was your automatic response to me. Yeah. I am just not in that place with DC right now. Mm-hmm. My mood with DC is, okay, you got me with Wonder Woman. Yeah. That's a great movie. Yeah. I will buy that on Blu-ray. Yeah. But you can't just win one and then expect me to sleep with you every time. You got to put more. You got to put some work into it. And yeah, so sure. I'm just really hesitant about everything that they do from henceforth, because this is following a lot of what BVS did in its marketing. I mean, like, it's got its heroes in the thing. It's got an extended opening. It's like the trailers for BVS. They're at least the one that I'm remembering. And this are very, very similar, even with, like, the big hulking CG villain to fight. Like, yeah, that was my problem with – one of my biggest problems with BVS is that, like, we knew that there was going to be someone to fight after Lex. Mm-hmm. And that kind of –
because they showed it.
Yeah, they kind of killed the excitement about that. Yeah. And if Steppenwolf is the main villain, I really hope that he does have a little bit more personality. And I hope that the movie is good.
I don't think that – you will get any other villain besides Steppenwolf. Like, I think they might talk about Darkseid, or they might tease him at the end, or like a post-credit thing if they
He'll be in the second one.
If they want to do that. Yeah, for sure. I think we are going to get a fully fleshed out villain with Steppenwolf. And I like Ciarán Hinds a lot as an actor, especially on Game of Thrones. And there's
Who does he play in game?
He was Mance Rayder, the leader of the Wildlings. And he's really good. He's a great actor. I think he's got a very menacing voice.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll see if... I think they're going to give him like a mask, because one of the things, as much as I love Wonder Woman, one of the weird things with Ares was that you could kind of see, spoilers, you could kind of see Lupin's face in the mask. I think they're just going to give Steppenwolf a mask that covers up his face, and he'll be full CG. But maybe he'll take it off at some parts or something like that. We'll
Perhaps.
See. But I think, besides that, you might get a little bit of Lex Luthor trying to do some whack stuff. You know, there's a lot of theories floating around about what Jesse Eisenberg's going to be doing in this movie. Hopefully it's not a lot.
I'm also hoping for Joker. I know that's a weird thing to say.
I don't want that at all. That would take me out of it, I think.
You think so?
Yeah.
I need a little bit of redemption.
For the Batman.
I need redemption.
Same for the Batman. Just be patient.
We'll see if that happens.
Yeah.
Last question about Justice League trailer. Who do you think shows up at the end? Is that Superman or is that somebody else?
That's got to be Superman.
I feel like it's a red herring. I feel like it's got to be someone else.
Really?
I feel like it's got to be... Someone on Reddit brought up that they think it's going to be Shazam.
I've heard that. Some people think it's a Green Lantern as well. Because the first thing said Unite the Seven, and right now they've only showed 6 people. So there's got to be a 7th person that's part of this league, and your go-to would be, in my opinion, either it's going to be Shazam, since that movie is supposed to be coming down the pipe.
It's the next one.
It's going to be one of the Green Lanterns, probably Hal Jordan, or Martian Manhunter might be cool to introduce, but I don't know if you just want to fidget him in there right now.
Yeah,
I don't think that's a good idea.
Yeah, that's probably not a great idea.
Yeah, we'll see, but I think it's most likely going to be Superman.
And then I did want to read an article right here about this comes from Variety. The studio DC, Warner Brothers in DC, had no comment on the scheduling trouble. They're spending about $25 million on extensive reshoots that have dragged on for roughly 2 months in London and LA. Mm-hmm. According to multiple sources,
Whedon's addition to kind of make the plot more cohesive, right?
Well, we don't know.
Okay.
No one's commented on the content. Okay. And that's what I'm curious about, is that there's $25 million on reshoots, but what is the content? We've seen...
The death of Batman.
It's just they're reshooting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but the article says here that reshoots usually cost $6 to $10 million. This is twice that amount.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. I don't know if this is this might be unprecedented in terms of a blockbuster movie. Well,
we've had 2 unprecedenteds this year then in terms of that kind of stuff.
So I'm just really, really curious about how this all goes. it's going to be very
We'll
interesting.
be there
to see.
November 17th.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Check it out.
And then a little bit of Ben drama. We don't have to talk about this too much, but I do want to bring it up. Hollywood Reporter published an article on July 21st that said Ben Affleck's Batman future in doubt as Warner Brothers plots franchise. And apparently the quote was that Warner's film studio chief Toby Emmerich told the Hollywood Reporter, quote, Ben is our Batman. We love him as Batman. We want to keep him in the cowl as long as we can, end quote. And Matt Reeves, who will direct the still undated and unwritten The Batman, has said he means to keep Affleck in the role. But a source with knowledge of the situation says the studio is working on plans to usher out Affleck's Batman gracefully, addressing the change in some shape or form in the upcoming DC films. Exactly when and how that might happen is yet to be determined, but it would be wise to bet against Affleck starring in The Batman. He has already stepped away from directing the film, and Reeves is dropping the script that Affleck wrote in DC Entertainment's Jeff Johns.
Which I think is a good idea. Side note for Matt Reeves.
We'll see. I like Matt Reeves a lot, so yeah, I think so. But then Ben Affleck at the DCEU press conference where he had all the Justice League members on stage answering questions, he said
Henry Cavill.
Minus Henry Cavill, yeah.
Because he's making Mission Impossible.
With a mustache.
Yeah.
Which they're going to have to CG off, which is just the funniest article I think I've read.
Paramount's really like, no.
You gotta be kidding me, man. I like the editing guys like, I'm doing what?
Well, I was kind of ready for bearded Superman, actually. So I don't know. Just grow a beard out. Do it that way.
That'd be cool.
CGI beard back on for the stuff you
They CGI it off, and then they come back to the same editing guy, and they're like, all right, we need you to put a beard on him. And he's like, you've got to be kidding me. I quit. But yeah, at the panel, Ben Affleck was being egged on about his enthusiasm
Chris
for Batman.
Hardwick was like, there's been rumors, they totally told him before they went on. They're like, you got to bring this up. Whether or not it's true.
Yeah.
We need you to kind of calm this stuff. It's Comic-Con. You got to give these people some happiness here.
Yeah.
Because they're a little pissed.
And you're speaking to the people that are evangelizing it.
Yes.
That's my thing, is that like you are putting a front face onto a crowd of people who are literally going to tell their family and friends to go see this movie. These are the people that buy multiple tickets and see it multiple times, like you and me. It's like, it's almost a no-brainer that he has to bring this up. Mm-hmm. What everyone else is bringing up is that he sits in mostly silence for the rest of the panel. Yeah. It's really only this moment that he was animated. And my first reaction, I was like, this is great. Like, this is totally great PR. It's good for Ben to say this kind of stuff. And this is the most animated I've seen him be about the Batman since getting the role. Mm-hmm. But it's immediately followed up by traditional Ben just sitting there and looking uninterested. And it's like, it doesn't seem like he's engaging with it very much.
Yeah, I watched the whole panel, actually, and that's totally true. There's a part where they're doing a Q&A, and this kid's like, now that you guys are the Justice League, if there's one person you could fight in the Suicide Squad, who would you want to take on? And Gal Gadot's like, I'd want to fight Harley Quinn. I think Cyborg said he wanted to fight Killer Croc or something. Flash wanted to take on, who cares? I think it was Deadshot. And then Aquaman wanted to fight Captain Boomerang because they're friends from Australia, that actor, and Jason Momoa or something like that. And then Ben didn't answer because, like, I'm assuming he would say, "Oh, do you want to take on the Joker?" And everybody would be like, "Ah!" And he was just like, and then they're like, "Okay, next question." And I was like, "Oh my god, like, what are you doing?"
That's stupid.
So it's hard to read based on what he said. He seemed like he's happy, but it's also like he's an actor. I mean, this is what he does. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think
my idea is still the way to go. So
we'll see.
Yeah, get him out gracefully. He doesn't want to be there. We all know it.
Jeff Johns says Joss Whedon will start work on Batgirl in 2018. Quote, we haven't gotten out there and said what our slate is because we'll do it when we're ready and have the films we're excited for.
Which is a smart idea.
But for Batman, what I will say is that Batman is more than just Batman, and it's been way too long since we've seen, an expansion of that universe. And Batgirl, what we are doing right now with Batgirl and Joss Whedon is going to be super exciting. He's going to start the next year, and that's just the start. We want to explore the Batman universe in a very big new way. Matt Reeves is coming on to do the Batman now, and we don't want to do the same thing that has been done before. We want to build it out just like we built it out in the comics. End quote.
Perfect. Give it to me.
Yeah, I'm excited for Batgirl for sure. Yeah. That'll be a great film.
I'm excited for this little side Batverse that's attached to the DCEU. If it is attached, we'll see. But it sounds like it is.
And then they also, a Hollywood Reporter, an exclusive, quoted that the Shazam is the next DC movie to start shooting.
After Aquaman.
So, yes. Peter Safran, who worked with Sandberg on the Annabelle sequel and is also producing Aquaman, is in negotiation to board Shazam as a producer. It's unclear whether Dwayne Johnson, who has long been attached to play Shazam's Black Adam, will be involved with the project. And then there was another article from The Hollywood Reporter the same day that said Dwayne Johnson won't appear in Shazam. DC's Jeff Johns says.
Okay.
So it looks like we're not getting Shazam. We're not getting Black Adam in Shazam.
Yeah.
Which I think is a totally bad move.
Okay.
I think you have within your universe now signed on as with contract
Dwayne Johnson,
one of the most charismatic and likable men in Hollywood, and you're not using him.
I bet you that's a red herring, and that he will be in it.
That seems like a weird thing to say. Why would you not want to make people excited about the movie?
I don't know. I'm excited about it.
I'm excited about it too, but like, how much more excited would people be if they heard Dwayne Johnson?
I think you just got to make a really fun, wacky type movie about a kid that when he says one word transforms into a god. I think that's a really good idea, and that's a great comic book character. He's been around since like the 30s or 40s. He was called Captain Marvel then, which...
I read about that. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, so, I mean, depending on who they cast as... I mean, if you get a really good kid... You know what I think? Get Mike from Stranger Things to play Billy Batson.
Oh!
And then get some really cool beefcake to play Shazam when he transforms into
What
Captain
about
Marvel.
Dustin? Why not Dustin?
Dustin would be fine as Billy Batson, too. Yeah. I think they're both really good actors. I mean... There's a lot of good kid actors out there right now, but
I honestly think Mike and Lucas are better actors than, or I think Dustin and Lucas are better actors than Mike was in Stranger Things.
Yeah, Mike looks like Billy Batson in the comics,
really?
But I don't want to profile people like that.
That's true.
Like I'm good with Idris Elba being Bond, but that's a different topic for another day. I mean, you could even have Lucas be Shazam for all I care. Just get a good Billy Batson and get a good Shazam, and then develop your villain after that. But I do think Dwayne Johnson will show up in that. There's no way.
I hope so.
Yeah.
And from Screen Rant, last DC thing we got to hit here. At the Warner Brothers panel, 8 films were officially announced for the DC Extended Universe. Over the next few years, fans will get to see Suicide Squad 2, The Batman, Shazam, Justice League Dark, Flashpoint, Wonder Woman 2, Green Lantern Corps, and Batgirl.
Okay.
So that's our slate.
Yeah. I'm excited about all of them except for Suicide Squad 2.
Same here. Actually,
the Flashpoint thing is really interesting that they're going with that, but we'll see once more develops. They still don't have a director for that. They just have Ezra Miller cast and whoever's playing Iris cast. So we'll see what they do with their whole Flashpoint thing. But I mean, if you think about it, you could do the comic storyline because by the time that comes out, you'll have had a Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and a Batman appearances and other stuff. So you could totally do that whole Flashpoint comic, which I can't remember if you've read or not.
No, I've not. But I know the story.
Cool, yeah.
You've talked to me
Parallel
about the story.
universe, the Atlanteans versus the Amazonians, and then Thomas Wayne as Batman. I mean, you could get, what's his face, Henry Dean Thomas from The Walking Dead, who played Negan, who plays Thomas Wayne in BVS. I mean, you could have him be Batman for a movie,
love that actor.
Which would be really cool.
I love that actor.
So, I mean, by the time you get to that Flash movie, you could totally do a dope Flashpoint.
Him as the comedian in Watchmen is one of my favorite roles.
I'd love to see him as a Thomas Wayne Batman.
He's sadistic and crazy, and it's awesome.
If you haven't read Flashpoint, the Batman in that, the take on that is really cool because Thomas Wayne is Batman and Martha Wayne is the Joker because she went insane after Bruce Wayne got murdered instead of them getting murdered. And like Thomas Wayne is like even more brutal than Batfleck is, at least in that comic. So that'd be really cool to watch him beat up some people in an alternate universe. And Cyborg's a big part of that movie too. So they're setting up all the people that would be in a Flashpoint movie, which would be really cool. And it'd be fun to watch Gal Gadot try and play an evil version of Wonder Woman fighting a evil version of Jason Momoa's Aquaman in a huge all-out war. I'm on board with that.
All right. Well, moving on to Marvel.
Let's do it.
The Marvel world. We got the biggest thing, which is the #1 trending trailer from Comic-Con. Like, this was the one that had the most hits, the most views, the most buzz.
And it's the best one.
According to social media, is Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Official trailer.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
I liked it. Did you? Okay. To start out, have you watched any of the panels in full?
No.
Okay. Then I'll be the panel insider.
Okay.
I thought that this trailer was really cool. That first trailer just got you so hyped for a movie that you usually like. Thor is cool, and I love Thor, but that's not the one that's like, Oh man, I can't wait to see Thor. I cannot wait to see Ragnarok.
This is my most anticipated Marvel movie right now.
And, like, I might talk about DC more on this show, but that's just because I enjoy the comics a little more. But I am very much... I like both worlds. Like, I don't know why people feel like they have to side. And if you look at comments for all these trailers, it's just DC fanboys fighting with Marvel fanboys. And it's like, why don't you just enjoy everything and take it all in?
Yeah.
Like, I'm pumped for Justice League. I'm pumped for Aquaman. I'm pumped for Black Panther. I'm pumped for Thor. Let's just get it all and enjoy it and be thankful for it. And Ragnarok just looks like such a fun movie, and I'm totally in on that. And the panel was very enjoyable too. Yeah.
The first things that carry over from the first Thor Ragnarok trailer, I want to say the cinematography looks fantastic.
Taika Waititi.
Yeah, it looks so good, man. Just like a visual spectacle. I can't wait to see this on the biggest screen possible. With
it's a lot like Guardians too. Very vibrant.
Another thing is I'm loving I like this team aspect that they're doing here. They tried to do it with Dark World, and it didn't necessarily go over well, even though I thought a few of the side characters were funny and kind of like interesting. They didn't.
Which ones?
I like the swordsman guy. It was Zachary Levi, right? Wasn't Zachary Levi like in his squad?
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about the Warriors 3 from Asgard.
Yeah. I like those guys.
I like them a lot too,
but they weren't fleshed out enough.
No.
And I like what they're doing in here.
This ensemble is a lot cooler.
They got Thor, Loki,
Valkyrie,
and Hulk, and then the girl Valkyrie. That's her name.
Tessa Thompson's playing Valkyrie. Okay. Yeah, and Valkyrie's a big Thor comic character. So a lot of people are pumped for that, and she's a really cool actress too.
Awesome.
Yeah, I like this little. It's almost like a really better version of the Fantastic Four that they got going on right now. You know. Like that part of the trailer when they open the door and Loki and Thor have these guns and they're like, hey, and he's like, hey, and they're like, it just looks like such a different movie.
It's got a lot of carryover from Guardians, and I think that's what's going to make it succeed. Is it's going to take a little bit of that over the top kind of fun aspect. Yeah. Because what Thor has always been is over the top. Like his character is over the top. His character is.
He's a bumbling fool.
Yeah, he's he's a king of another Earl, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But now put that and give it a little bit more like zest and fun, and I think it's totally going to be...
Yeah, and a haircut.
And a haircut. Yeah. I can't wait, man.
I'm looking forward to Cate Blanchett as the villain.
That's my other big thing.
She's going to be awesome. She's one of the best actors out there.
Yeah. And what you can already tell from the trailer is that I like that they're giving her a little bit of this fun personality. She's like a little...
She's like teasing them.
Yeah, she's like... Yeah,
she's like, I'm more powerful.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And she's smiling. She's got... I like that her face isn't like covered up. There's no hideous scars or burns or anything like that. Like she's allowed to emote and smile and be herself. And I think that that's going to really lend a hand to the story as well, because... Thor's always fought in the last two movies. Thor's fought villains that are just like
forgettable. Besides Loki,
great. And Loki is more of the anti. I mean, he is the villain, but
I mean,
it's complex.
In the first one, he's more of the villain, right? Yeah. The second one, not as much. Malekith is the second one, right?
Malekith the Accuser.
And then other than that, Thor's fought Loki again with the Chitauri in Avengers, and then Ultron, which is only cool on paper. I mean, I thought this was really cool, and hats off to Mark Ruffalo for making the Hulk and Banner work in the very little time he's ever given with the first two Avengers movies and then now this movie. I'm looking forward for them building that dynamic the same way that we've seen Cap and Tony Stark build a dynamic between the Avengers and the Civil War movie.
How do you feel about Talking Hulk?
I like it.
Hey, that's funny.
Yeah. It's really, really you didn't watch the panel. They kind of explained that. I don't know if you want me to tell you.
Yeah, go for it.
It's not really a spoiler, but basically, you know how he ran away at the end of Ultron? The Hulk settled down on this planet, and he doesn't want to turn back into Banner anymore. He wants to just be the Hulk all the time because people love him as a gladiator on this planet that they're at, that wherever Jeff Goldblum lives. And so, like, he's become the gladiator champion, and he likes being the Hulk, so he's had time to develop like almost like a second grader's vocabulary, and he likes to be the Hulk and talk more. So he's going to be Hulk for a lot of the movie. And then every now and then Banner's going to come back, and that's why he's acting all confused. Like he's like, did we fight? He's like, yeah. He's like, how'd it go? He's like, well, I won, obviously. He's like, that doesn't sound very right. Yeah. So it's really cool. It's a good idea. And
awesome.
Loki's going to be great as usual.
Oh, for sure.
That
I love
bond
Tom
is
Hiddleston,
man. It's going to continue to develop.
Tom Hiddleston.
We got the gold balloon.
Yeah. Oh, give me the gold balloon. Yeah, did you see the poster where they they photoshopped him on everyone?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so great.
And then Carl Urban, I think, will be fun.
Ragnarok.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Carl Urban, isn't it? He looks chunky. He looks like thick for some reason in that.
He's a beefy guy.
I mean, he's beefy, but he's not fat. He kind of looks like he looks like
stocky. Yeah,
not in Star Trek though.
Yeah,
like,
he is.
Really?
He's just a big guy. Yeah. You won't want to mess with Dr. Bones, man.
I don't want to mess with Bones, but he's not. He's not fat.
No, I'm not saying.
I'm not saying fat. Carl Urban's fat, but
he's just like a brick wall. Like, try and move that guy. You need somebody for them to fight.
He's got a wide frame, but he's like a thin dude.
I don't know. I always thought that he was kind of just like built. You know, Éomer is just wide. You know, he's kind of like me. Not to hype my own physique.
No, you're. Maybe it's just the armor. I think it's the armor he's wearing. It must be the armor because it's definitely the armor. All right, never mind. Forget I said anything.
Yeah.
But then the last thing I wanted to talk about, or not, well, we got some more Marvel stuff, but the Infinity War poster, what'd you think?
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Did you? Oh, dude, it leaked. Did you watch the trailer for Infinity War?
It leaked?
I watched it. It's probably not up there anymore.
I'll find it.
I don't know if you can build it. It's somebody who like put it down below the breast of their body and filmed it in Hall H when they showed it at the end.
If it's out there, it's out there.
I don't know.
Oh, it's out there.
But I watched it. I mean, it's literally shot for shot what we described on our last episode. It was just kind of cool to have a visual to go along with it. I'm not going to lie. It looks a lot in terms of color palette and stuff. It looks very much like Justice League, like this new trailer with the red-hued sky and stuff. So I think it's going to be kind of similar in that regard, but Thanos is not wearing that armor that he wears in like Guardians and stuff like that. He's like bald and it looks like he's wearing a tank top, but he's like wearing the Infinity Gauntlet. I don't know. It was cool to see though.
Huh. All right, I'm looking for it. I'll find it if I find it. Something you can talk about while I'm looking for this bad boy is the Captain Marvel details.
Yeah.
So we found out it's based in the 90s.
Yeah, Kevin Feige said that it's based in the 90s and that Nick Fury is in it. As Samuel L. Jackson's playing Nick Fury, Brie Larson's going to be Captain Marvel. As we know, this is before Nick Fury loses his eye because it's set in the 90s and they're fighting the Skrulls, which is a big...
What are the Skrulls?
The Skrulls is an alien race from the Marvel Comics, and it's a big deal. They usually fight the Fantastic Four. I don't know how. I think they acquired them from Fox somehow. Maybe in that Deadpool deal that they got Ego the Living Planet from. But that's a big announcement, and that sounds like it would be pretty interesting. It's crazy that they're going backward in time to introduce this Captain Marvel character, because if she is going to be a part of this new, like, cosmic Marvel verse that they're going forward with in the future after Infinity War with the Guardians, like they're gonna time jump forward kind of like Captain America, so we'll see how they handle that. Who knows if she'll get frozen or if they're just gonna be like, yeah, it's been 30 years but she looks the same now since however long ago.
Yeah.
And then they also announced that Michelle Pfeiffer is going to be playing Janet Van Dyne, who is the original Wasp to Michael Douglas's original Ant-Man, which is, I like Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman, so it's cool to see her back in crossing the streams, if you will, over to the Marvel side for a little bit. We'll see how she delivers that role in Ant-Man and the Wasp, which everybody's hyped for. Yeah, this is what I watched.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'll just look at it and give brief opinions.
Okay.
So, yeah, we got the trailer. I mean, we read the description on last week's show, so if you didn't listen to that, but it looks like it's going to be basically true to form, so a lot of black.
It's the same as what we talked about, like to the T.
Got Guardians here, hanging out. Looks
flying
cool.
the Milano.
In the Milano. It's good to see these guys back again. Gotta love
It'll
Gamora.
be interesting to watch them not in a Guardians movie.
Yeah, for sure.
Because part of the reason why we love those characters is they get to share the screen all the time.
Wait, who is that? Is that Thor? Ah, okay.
Yeah, now they have to share it with Avengers people, though. I like the idea of Thor hanging out with the Guardians.
Yeah, for sure.
I think the comedic timing between them is going to be great, except for the fact that they're all getting wiped out by Thanos, so we'll see how much comedy is in it.
I bet it's going to be pretty comedy heavy for the first hour when everyone's meeting each other, and then as soon as the threat becomes present,
I don't know, man.
I think we're going to get some sad.
I think he's going to show up pretty fast.
You think so?
Yeah. They've been building this for 10 years.
Yeah, but I don't
tell me I have to wait another hour into the movie that he's supposed to be.
It's going to be like a 2.5 hour movie.
Yeah, but
you're going to get an hour and a half.
I think he's going to show up in the first half hour, and
okay.
he's just going to start wrecking stuff. It's going to be crazy. But yeah,
Loki's here hanging out. He's got the Tesseract.
We see Loki with the Tesseract. You got your Black Panther. You got your Spider-Man wearing the spoilers homecoming suit at the end of the movie.
Cumberbatch chilling.
Cumberbatch.
Looks very cosmic. It looks like
that's what I'm saying.
They're gonna be fighting in space.
It looks like they're fighting on a rock somewhere. It's a green screen stage, you know, from that from that promo that they had when they first started filming in Atlanta.
I just want to see Thanos. Hold on, I'm gonna skip to Thanos.
He's right there. Wait.
Oh wait, that was him?
He's showing up. Yeah.
Okay.
Check him out. Josh Brolin's here. It looks like the Warcraft movie.
It looks like, yeah, it does look like Warcraft. That's a little bit disappointing.
He looks like not the ogres, the orcs from the Warcraft movie.
Spider-Man hanging out, cool.
Yep. He's just doing his thing. We got your Scarlet
Panther.
Witch. This just sounds like a bunch of rambling for people that are listening.
Okay, cool. Well, whatever.
It's cool to piece it with some visuals.
Yeah,
so if you can find it, check it out.
Yeah.
It's leaked.
And another trailer to talk about briefly. What'd you think about Ready Player One?
Are we getting out of Marvel?
Well, we're done. Unless there's anything else you had to say.
Black Panther panel was really fun to watch. Ryan Coogler is very passionate about the character. He gave his backstory of why he likes Black Panther as a Marvel character and how excited he was to be attached to the project. I think he's a great filmmaker, and all the actors that they have involved with it are awesome. It was really cool. The panel was like, you know, Chadwick Boseman, Michael B. Jordan, Lupita Nyong'o, Andy Serkis was there, which is cool. You know, everybody loves him at Comic-Con, and he didn't try and take away from the new people because, you know, we know him and we love his character and all the things that he's been attached to, but it's cool to see all these people that are introducing this new world and talk about it. They're all very excited to be a part of it, and I thought that panel probably had the most energy out of all the Comic-Con panels that I watched.
Cool. Good to hear.
It seems like the cast really gets along and stuff like that, which is cool to see. I'm really excited for Thor, but Black Panther is my most anticipated Marvel movie coming down the pipe. I'm just very interested to see how they take that, and I like the character a bunch. So we'll see when that comes out in February.
I'm most excited for Thor, but I'm most curious about Black Panther. Let's put it that way for me.
I just liked that first trailer a lot. I'm really interested. I think the way they made Wakanda looks really awesome. Yeah.
So what'd you think of Ready Player One?
It is interesting.
We have to talk about it alone.
Steven Spielberg, jumping back into it. I think it's going to be an interesting concept. It was a pretty well cut trailer.
Yeah.
But did you read the book?
No. And
are you going to before the movie?
Well, what I wanted to bring up with you, and we can talk about it for a few seconds, is there's a lot of disdain for this property on the internet. Mm-hmm. A lot of people really don't like the way that a lot of people have huge amounts of criticism for the way that because obviously the trailer leans very heavily on pop culture. Mm-hmm. That's the whole thing. I mean, you see the Iron Giant, you see all these comic book characters, you see the DeLoreans. I mean, it's like, it's obviously meant to be a very nostalgia-driven sort of experience.
Sure.
And it
kinda
looks
like
really, exactly. But the problem is that Pixels was billed as a comedy
with Adam Sandler.
Yeah. And this is like an action thriller,
action adventure, sci-fi.
I like Spielberg, but I haven't really liked anything he's done recently.
It's the last good Spielberg movie that
I like Hugo quite a bit.
I like Super 8.
Oh, Super 8. What was that? That was Spielberg?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
No, it was Abrams.
Yeah, it was J.J. Abrams.
Yeah,
I think Spielberg was attached in some way.
He was producing it, yeah. Never mind. I think the last one that I liked that he directed was Saving Private Ryan.
Oh, wow, that's a long time ago.
I mean, I didn't like Crystal Skull.
Oh, Crystal Skull. The trash pile.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's look at Steven Spielberg IMDb.
Let's check it.
See what he's been up to.
His early stuff's very strong.
I mean, he's one of the most famous names in Hollywood.
He's one of the best filmmakers of all time. Definitely.
Schindler's List, Catch Me If You Can.
Wait, when did Catch Me If You Can come out?
2002.
Okay, that was the last one that I really liked then. This is producing. You need to go to directing. Yeah. See, I didn't really like Lincoln, and I didn't see Bridge of Spies, so I'd probably have to go with Catch Me If You Can.
Did you see Tintin?
No.
That wasn't bad.
And War of the Worlds was bad.
War of the Worlds was bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Catch Me If You Can was the last Spielberg movie that I liked.
Same.
According to these directing credits.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't know. We'll see how the movie goes. I'm interested to see it because it has been this kind of... It's interesting. Ready Player One has been has been a phenomenon in literature, but at the same time, it's also been like controversy.
Yeah.
And I'm really interested in things like that because I want to be able to form my own opinion. I probably would like to read the book before I see the movie on this one because I want to be able to be a part of that discussion.
Did I tell you, this is a side note, did I tell you that I inadvertently got...
Stop with this audio. What? This is so annoying. It's Game of Thrones.
Did I tell you that I inadvertently got Murder on the Orient Express spoiled for me?
Really?
Yeah.
Aww.
Thanks a lot, Kevin Smith. He just doesn't care about spoilers.
That's what I'm talking about. That's the spoilers that I'd be more worried about. It's like all the podcasts I listen to, like nerd entertainment podcasts. It's like someone on Dude Soup is just gonna ruin
It's not gonna make me not want to go see the movie. I'm still very interested because I don't know how the ending comes into fruition. But yeah, I got with any murder mystery, it's kind of nice to go along with the ride. But I know I know who done it.
When does Murder on the Orient Express come out?
November, probably between Thor and Justice League.
We've seen a lot of movies in November.
True. Yeah, so that was kind of a bummer, but I'm still gonna go check that out because I like all the people that are in it. Anyway,
let's do a couple television news stories. We're actually doing pretty good on time, only an hour.
Great.
So how about that?
Yeah.
From Entertainment Weekly, Game of Thrones showrunners reveal their next epic HBO series. The Game of Thrones showrunners have revealed their next series, leaving Westeros to create another fantastical and ambitious world-building war drama. Whew.
Say that 5 times fast.
Yeah. HBO has given a straight-to-series order to Confederate from Emmy-winning Game of Thrones creators, writers, and producers David Benioff and Dan Weiss. The show, quote, chronicles the events leading to the Third American Civil War. The series takes place in an alternate timeline where the southern states have successfully seceded from the Union, giving rise to a nation in which slavery remains legal and has evolved into a modern institution. The story follows a broad swath of characters on both sides of the Mason-Dixon demilitarized zone: freedom fighters, slave hunters, politicians, abolitionists, journalists, and the executives of a slave-holding conglomerate and the families of people in their thrall, end quote. They also say, quote, this is Benioff and Weiss in a joint statement. We have discussed Confederate for years, originally as a concept for a feature film, but our experience on Thrones has convinced us that no one provides a bigger, better storytelling canvas than HBO. End quote. This is a really cool concept.
I think it's a really interesting concept.
I love alternate history stuff.
I do too.
And
I think these writers are fantastic. We've seen on Game of Thrones, they know how to write a show that can potentially go on for multiple seasons. So depending on how that first season goes, and if people like the characters and the controversy isn't, it's more of just kind of overlooked to enjoy the show as a side piece of media. It could be something as enjoyable as, Westworld.
I think it's going to be a very polarizing show. I think,
for sure.
You're going to love it or hate it, but I also think that I don't want to make grand assumptions, but I would say that most of the people that pay for HBO are more liberally minded.
Okay.
Maybe not not liberal in a political sense, but a little bit more open-minded.
Okay.
And I don't mean that, I don't mean...
Because of, nudity and stuff.
Yes, I don't mean to generalize.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of adult and very forward-thinking themes on HBO. Whether it's girls, or whether it's Westworld, or Game of Thrones,
Silicon Valley.
Yeah, Silicon Valley. Veep. Yeah, Veep. Oh, especially Veep. I mean, it's like... HBO is... obviously, it's a very liberally charged... Network. And I think that most of the people that would pay for it kind of understand what they're buying into.
Of course.
It's only very rare. I not many people know. I don't talk about it on the show, but I went to Christian college, and one of the kids that I met freshman year, I saw he had a Game of Thrones sticker on his laptop, and so I started a conversation with him because I was like, this kid must like Game of Thrones. We can talk about something. Finally I've met someone that I can have an actual discussion with, and that's not about Sunday church or chapel or whatever. So I talked to this kid.
Jonah and the Whale.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I started talking to this kid about Game of Thrones, and I was like, so do you watch any other HBO shows? And he's like, no, I only go to this one website that filters Game of Thrones. And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, oh, there's this Christian website that goes through and edits every Game of Thrones episode to remove profanity, remove nudity, and remove violence. And I just watched those on there.
Really?
And I was so amused by this that I laughed, thinking that he was joking. I laughed in this kid's
And
face.
he wasn't joking?
Not joking.
Wow.
This is a real thing. And so it's like, that's a whole nother topic in itself. It's like censoring and like when you start to remove content that the creators envision, when do you start tarnishing the art? I think that is definitely crossing the line. But like, it'll be interesting to see how people react to a show about modern slavery, basically.
Yeah,
especially in an era like we live in right now, where they're very politically charged.
We'll see how they handle it, but I bet you, as like you said, a kind of more forward-thinking network, I'm sure that they will handle it in a way that isn't trying to get rid of their audience. Because
for sure,
they're not trying to exclude people, and they're not going to be racist in any format. It's just it's a take on something. So that'll be interesting. And who knows? Like, it might not be slavery based on your ethnicity. It could be based on your religion. It could be based on your IQ, stuff like that.
Sexual
this is 3 civil wars
Yeah.
into the future. It'll be very interesting how they handle it. It'll be a lot like Man with the High Castle or whatever that show is about, if the Nazis won the war.
Yeah.
It'll be that same kind of feel, I hope.
The thing is, I think about characters like Jaime Lannister in Game of Thrones. No spoilers here for Game of Thrones, but like over the course of the Game of Thrones of the series, I started to develop a bit of empathy for Jaime Lannister.
Oh, for sure. His character arc is very good.
His character arc is very good, but imagine feeling that sort of empathy for someone on the slave owner side in a show like this, and I think that's what's going. I think that's what's going to start making people feel a little uncomfortable with the show. Is Game of Thrones, you're dealing with fantasy and dragons and White Walkers and stuff like that, but with this, you're dealing with people and lives and things that have actually happened in this country. And so I'm just like, if all the show, only HBO would do this. HBO or Showtime or maybe like FX could maybe get away with this. Yeah, but it's like, no, this is the proof to me of why HBO is like really one of the front runners in quality content, because they're pushing forward a more open-mindedness on what art can pertain within us in our circle. And so with Confederate is what it's called. I mean, it's called Confederate. Yeah. I am very interested to know how people are going to respond.
I have a dream casting for that show that I would be very interested if they could get it. He is an HBO alumni. I think it'd be really cool if they got Matthew McConaughey to play the president of the southern states, if they have a president or if it's like a king or something. I'm assuming it'd be a president. I think that'd be a good way to draw people in, the same way that Sean Bean drew people into the first season of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And
you gotta have someone big.
Anthony Hopkins drew people into Westworld.
You gotta have someone big, and they'll for sure have someone.
So I think that would be a good role for him. That would be something interesting.
I would like to see a little bit of Game of Thrones crossover, and I know that that's crazy, but I would
like characters.
I would like actors. I would like to see some actors jump the fence.
They're all very British.
They are British, but like even characters like. I mean, like I've heard. I don't remember who did it, but someone did an American accent once. I think I heard it on something like that, but I don't know.
I'd like to see the Hound go over. I think that would be
I
cool.
love that actor.
Someone like that, maybe.
Yeah.
Give what's his face? Or her face? Cersei. Give her another role in an HBO show, because I don't think she's going to make it out of this season. So
we'll see.
Or at least, I mean, that show's coming to an end anyway. So like, make her some Southern Belle or something like that. That'd be something crazy. Anyway, Confederate. Check it out.
Yeah, we'll see. That's not going to be out for a while. That's like years away. Years.
I know, but
it's like 2 years.
It'll be cool.
2 or 3 years. Small update. We're going to transition to games here. We only have 2 news topics, but one of them is huge. Uncharted Lost Legacy went gold. And so for people that aren't familiar with gaming lingo, going gold means that you finished the game. It's burned onto a single Blu-ray disc, which they are now shipping out to be manufactured and copied onto other discs to be shipped to manufactured to stores and into our hands.
Yes.
So we have less than a month left, right?
I'm ready.
Until Lost Legacy. So put it in me. And the last big story here from NeoGaf, and this is also going to be the Dat Cave. Do you have a Dat Cave?
I don't.
Okay. You might want to
think of one.
You might want to open up. Well, no. So we'll do this together.
Okay. I'm taking them now.
This story comes from NeoGaf, gaming forum. If you've never been to NeoGaf, but On July 18th, 2017, this comes from user Rosti on NeoGAF. I'm not sure how to pronounce that.
Okay.
On July 18th, 2017, Nintendo Company Limited filed in Europe via the European Union Intellectual Property Office 4 figurative trademark applications related to various game controllers. The applications are as follows. Number 16991325, Nintendo 64 Controller, NES Controller, SNES Controller, Nintendo Switch Controller. They are all registered under the same goods and services. So that says telecommunication machines and apparatus, electronic storage media recorded for programs and computers, blah, blah, blah. This goes on and on and on and on. The user says, quote, to me, based on the goods and services, this seems more related to a classic edition mini console of an N64 and other systems, apart from Nintendo Switch, than Virtual Console. A Nintendo 64 Classic Edition is only a natural development following its predecessors receiving such treatment. End quote. So, looks like Nintendo is keeping this Classic Edition train rolling. And if these trademarks are led to be believed, we could be seeing an N64 Classic Edition next year.
That'd be cool.
My Dat Cave question to you, John.
Oh, wait, are we going to the Zach Stat Cave?
The Zach Stack?
No, Dat Cave. I said Zach Stat.
Zach Stat?
Yeah.
Oh.
The Dat Cave.
Oh. Yes, exactly.
He just went to another dimension for a second. He's back.
Wasn't exactly sure what you were saying.
That's okay.
John, we just got hired at Nintendo.
Okay.
And
unfortunately, it's sinking ship, so I'm a little worried about my job.
It's going down.
Yeah. All right.
Get the Pikmin out.
Yeah, seriously.
John, we're going to make the N64 Classic.
Oh, I like this game.
So,
Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Well, let's not just jump willy-nilly into this now.
Sorry.
You played N64 when you were a kid, correct?
I did.
Okay.
A lot of fun games.
You owned one, right?
No.
Yeah.
I played my friends.
Okay, you played your friends.
Mm-hmm.
I
didn't own a console until the GameCube.
Until the GameCube.
My first game. That was my first console.
Yeah, so I'm going to pull up some top N64 games.
Sure.
We're going to go through those and see which ones we want to add to the list. But I also want to determine a few things. So we're going to list the games that we want, and keeping in mind that the SNES Classic only has 21 games as opposed to the 30 games that were on the NES Classic. So obviously, I think we're going to have to pick less.
Let's go with 15.
You want to do 15?
Yeah, I think that's fair. Question.
Okay.
Have they hit you up yet about if the pre-order is up for that?
No notifications yet from Amazon.
Get one.
It went live on Walmart.com, and it sold out in 40 minutes.
Dang.
But that was the only place that it went up on. So people are thinking that might have been an error. So you never know.
Okay.
I know one guy that I follow on Twitter got a pre-order for at Walmart.com, but even he was like, I'm skeptical. I've gotten pre-orders from Walmart before, and they've been canceled before. So
I'm going to register for that notification.
Yeah, for sure.
I think if we both try.
I'm going to try.
We might try my hardest. One. But we can both get two, which would be dope. So you got Amazon and then their website, right? Setting up notifications for you.
Okay, so when you search best N64 games of all time, these are the ones that pull up on
should we be
writing
Google. This down?
I've got my notepad.
All right,
I'm
going to write something.
You're going to write it down?
Yeah, on an old
on
gas
the back
bill.
of it. Here, do you want a piece of we have a piece of paper? I don't have a piece of paper. You're going to use the gas bill?
Yeah, I left my old notepad. I already paid this gas bill. So
oh, okay. Okay. You know what? Let's do IGN because I like IGN's top 25.
I'm numbering
list.
my page. 1, 2, 3, 5. That's not right. 1, 2, 3, 4,
1, 2, 3,
5,
yeah, that's how you count. Good
6,
job.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
This is great
12,
radio.
13, 14.
All right, so
15. Okay.
Let's start with number 25 on IGN's top 25, so we can weed some of these out. Obviously, there's going to be a few that I've never played. I'm sure there's going to be some that you've never played.
Yeah.
The first number 25 on their list is Harvest Moon 64, which I played briefly once, but this isn't the Harvest Moon that I have fondness for, so I'm not going to put that one in.
I'm also not putting it on mine because I don't know what that is.
Number 4, it's like a farming simulator. It's all like Animal Crossing.
Great.
Those games are fun. Okay. Rocket, Robot on Wheels.
No.
Okay, no. Mario Golf for the N64. Now, this is an interesting one because I actually think that this could make the cut and not have to take too much space up because the Mario Golf games have been like staples forever. And The problem is that if they're going to continue this trend, say they do a GameCube Classic, you got to put Toadstool Tour on there, and there's no way you're going to do
one of the dankest.
Yeah, and Toadstool Tour is better than Mario Golf.
It's also better than Tiger Woods PGA Tour.
It's Mario Golf Toadstool Tour is one of the best golf games I think I've ever played.
Yeah,
so
for sure,
I would put that on maybe the honorable mentions.
I have
find
an asterisk list that I'm going to make a list of them first, and then I'm going to rank them.
Okay,
yeah.
22.
Except for I already know what number one's going to be.
22 is Space Station Silicon Valley, which I've not played. 21 is Blast Corps, which I've not played. 20 is Jet Force Gemini, which is actually a really prominent game in Nintendo's history. So I would honestly, it's not going to be all the hits, so we got to put some on there. So I'm going to write Jet Force Gemini on the asterisk as well, because I'm sure that's going to pop up, I would assume.
Okay, we'll see.
I'm taking out 19 because that's NHL 99. Doubt that they're going to be able to get licenses to that, because that's EA. That's also players and stuff like that. So you got to worry about that, as well as 18, NHL which is All Star Baseball 2001.
NHL PA and MLB PA wouldn't let that kind of happen.
Number 17 is Mario Kart 64.
Yes,
that's a definite.
That is on there.
That's a definite. But so write Mario Kart. Don't write it on 15. Well, okay, so that's fine.
I'm not putting these in order. This is just like what I know is making the cut.
Okay,
yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah.
So Mario Kart 64 is definitely on there.
Because we're not ranking them based on what we like best. We're just putting them
Yeah, that's true. I wasn't thinking about that. I thought we were ranking them for a second. My mind just exploded.
That's an After Dark.
That's
topic.
For sure an After Dark topic. Yeah. Best Nintendo games of all time.
Oh, goodness, that would be fun to go through.
We should do that.
We should do an After Dark this week.
Number 16. This one I would say is probable. Is 1080 degrees snowboarding. This one was like a bundle game for a lot of N64s, and so I would not be surprised if this ended up on there.
Makes the cut.
Resident Evil 2 is on here. Capcom has actually been pretty easy to work with for Nintendo. They were able to put Mega Man on the NES Classic, Mega Man X on the SNES Classic, so if there was a Capcom game, it would be maybe this one or a Mega Man game, so I would put this one as an asterisk.
Okay, wait, what is it again?
Resident Evil 2.
Oh, okay.
Right. Again, number 14, Madden NFL 99. I'm saying no.
Not happening.
Ridge Racer 64.
That'll probably happen.
I would probably say that's a probable, yeah. That's, let me see. This is who developed this guy? Who did Ridge Racer? I don't know who did Ridge Racer.
More than meets the eye.
Now this is a tricky one. Number 12 is WWF WrestleMania 2000. I think
a lot of those people aren't wrestling anymore.
That's true, but I think WWE has been pretty okay on licenses.
Was Mike Tyson Punch out on the NES or SNES Classic?
I was the NES. Oh, was it on the NES Classic?
Yeah, because if it's not, then they're not going to do this Wrestle one, because that's one of the biggest.
But Mike Tyson's Punch Out was a Nintendo. Yeah.
Is on the Classic?
Yep.
Okay, this could be on there then.
I would say a maybe. So put an asterisk on that bad boy.
What is it again? Wrestling?
Yeah, WWF WrestleMania.
Okay.
Now here we gotten into the good stuff.
Let's get there.
Number 11, Smash Bros.
Yes.
For sure. That's got to make the cut.
That'll be on there. Yep.
For sure, it's got to be on the cut.
Yep.
Another one, number 10, International Superstar Soccer 98.
Interesting.
Yeah, we'll see. Rayman 2, The Great Escape. I say yes on this one.
That'll be on there.
I say Rayman's on there.
Rayman.
Number 8, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
I think that will be on there.
I think that was a really prominent game, so I wouldn't be surprised if it does make it on there. The problem is that Activision loves their franchises, but the last Tony Hawk game bombed because it was so bad.
Yeah,
so
I could see that being on there, so I'm going to put that down. That's at the 12 spot, so we got a lot of these other ones to weed through. Yeah. Plus, we could look up things that might not be on the list that we know of.
Here's a tricky one. Number 7 on IGN is Banjo-Kazooie. I would say that it would be a no-brainer for Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie to be on there, but now that Microsoft owns those franchises, like Microsoft owns Banjo-Kazooie, like the name, but Nintendo's been pretty good about getting other companies to ball with them on certain things.
Let's do dream scenarios. Let's do it.
So
Banjo and Banjo 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wave Race 64 is definitely going to be on there. Excite Bike 64.
Right?
Yeah, Wave Race.
Yeah.
I would say Excite Bike is also going to be on there.
Yep.
And then GoldenEye is definitely on there.
If that's not on there, the world will end.
The other thing is that that's a rare game too, and so those rights definitely transferred to Microsoft. So,
well, this will be. They'll give Microsoft a chunk of change to be able to use this.
They're going to have to.
And then this thing's going to be $100. So
it's definitely going to be $100. Yeah. Number 3 is Perfect Dark, which I also think makes the cut.
Yes.
And then Super Mario 64 and Ocarina of Time are number 2 and 1. And
there's
I would actually say
that they haven't had in there.
So I'm going to go back to Google and see what the other lists are saying.
I will go ahead and tell you what they are. Majora's Mask.
Yep, Majora's Mask is on there. I'm going to also
Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah. Yeah.
I bet you Pokemon Coliseum will be on there too.
I don't know, man. It's tricky.
I think you got to put it on there. Yeah, at least the first one.
Well, another one we have to put is Star Fox 64.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah.
So,
Star Fox
64 is definitely going to be on there.
Okay, and we got one more spot left. We might have to take a couple of these out.
I hate to say it.
I'm taking Banjo 2 out. Sorry.
Oh, and man, that's going to kill so many people if Banjo
I'm putting DK Country in there. No, the first one's in there.
Oh, you're going to take Banjo 2 out.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Man, Kirby and the Crystal Shards would be a cool ad. And so would Mortal Kombat. Because the trilogy was on N64.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, I think Mario Party might be on there.
First one? Or whatever one that was.
I think it was they had 3 on there. I think it was Mario Party to Mario Party 3.
Let's read through what I have right now and see if we can take some of these out. You ready?
Yeah.
This is 1 through 15.
We'll start with the ones that are definitely keeping on there.
Okay, we're definitely keeping Ocarina.
Yeah, for sure.
We're definitely keeping Super Mario 64.
Yep.
We're definitely keeping Mario Kart.
Yep.
Smash. Star Fox. GoldenEye. Excite Bike. Wave Racer.
That's 10, right?
Yeah. What was Perfect again?
Perfect Dark.
Perfect Dark.
Perfect Dark is really niche popular game, but
I think you got to keep Majora's Mask too. I think both those other games will be on there. There's a lot of people that like Majora's Mask more than Ocarina of Time. Ocarina of Time is the more popular one, but I think Majora's Mask is the better constructed game.
I think so too.
Yeah. I'm keeping it. This is my list. I am the captain now.
And this is we're working within the parameters of 15. What are some of the games that we had on the side? Mario Golf,
snowboarding, Resident Evil 2, Ridge Racer, and wrestling.
I think wrestling's a no-go.
Okay,
I think take wrestling off.
I think you gotta take Jet Force out too.
Jet Force Gemini?
Yeah.
That's within the top 10 most searched when you bring up Google.
Okay.
So here's Google. When you search best N64 games, or let's just type in N64 games, these are the popular results that come up when you search. Number 1, 64, Mario.
Gotta be on
Zelda,
there.
GoldenEye, Mario Kart, Donkey Kong, Majora's Mask, Conkers, Banjo, Star Fox, Perfect Dark, Pokemon Stadium, Diddy Kong Racing, which is actually a really good game too. Pokemon Snap, which is never going to happen.
No way.
Banjo Tooie, Kirby 64, F-Zero. I forgot about F-Zero.
Okay.
Shadows of the Empire? There's no way they're going to get that one.
Not gonna be on there.
Yoshi's Story actually might make the cut too, because that's we got to think about also that like the Nintendo owned games are going to get precedent. So of this list,
okay, so
they're going to try
out Tony Hawk.
Yeah, unfortunately.
We're also going to take out snowboarding and Ridge Racer. And
take out Ridge Racer, but this 1080 snowboarding one was a bundled-in game, and so I'm thinking that might be one of the ones they try for.
We're getting rid of Resident Evil as well.
Yeah, Resident Evil's got to go.
So we'll tell you what, we're going to jump up to 17 games, okay? 17 games.
Because we got to add Mario Party, right?
I already have that on there.
Okay, you already have that on there?
Snowboarding just made the cut.
Okay, so we're at 16 now. We've
17. I think you got to put what's his face? Kirby
64.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a solid pick. We have Star Fox on the list, right? On the make it.
Yeah, this is what we have right now. Mario Party, Star Fox, Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time, Super Mario 64, Perfect Dark, GoldenEye, Excite Bike, Wave Racer, Donkey Kong Country 64, Banjo-Kazooie, We just took Tony Hawk off, so we have an open spot. We have Rayman.
You know what? Take Excitebike off too, because
getting rid of that.
Excitebike is far down the list, and Wave Race 64 charts higher than that.
Okay. We got Rayman, Smash, Mario Kart, and snowboarding. So we have 3 open spots right now.
Oh man, Cruisin' USA too. I forgot about Cruisin' USA. Remember the girls that would you ever play that in the arcades? They would walk out with the flags and then wave them.
Yeah,
that was the best. Pod Racer, Star Wars Pod Racer.
No Star Wars games are gonna be.
Oh, Glover. Remember Glover? Holy cow, dude.
I do remember Glover.
Glover was I still have that for N64. Oh, remember the Spider-Man game for N64?
That's a PlayStation game.
It was also for N64.
Yeah, I played it on the computer.
Okay.
That was a bad game.
It was pretty bad. Well, I remember the opening scene is you have to swing through and catch Venom, right?
Yeah, and you die a lot.
A lot, yeah. It sucked.
Black cats in it.
What about Superman 64? Remember Superman? Did you ever play that one?
Yeah, it's not gonna be on there.
That's for sure. No, that's as one of the worst video games of all time. That's always on the top 10 worst video games. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think you could make a case for Pokemon Stadium being on the list.
I think it should be on there.
I think it should be on there. I mean, it would be cool.
This is our sketch pad. Get your notes out. We're making
the list right now.
Do you want to keep 17 or do you want to go back to 15?
Let's just do 17 and then say that we're playing it safe, because I definitely think there's less than 20 for sure.
Yeah.
But I think around 15 sounds about right for the cost.
Yep.
So hit me up with the list.
Okay. So you got
Super Mario 64.
Super Mario 64.
Okay.
Majora's Mask. GoldenEye. Mario Kart. Smash Bros. Banjo-Kazooie. You have GoldenEye on there yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do I have Ocarina?
Ocarina of Time. Donkey Kong Country. Perfect Dark. Mario Party. Wave Racer. Snowboarding.
1080 snowboarding.
And then last that we have that are on our kept list was Rayman.
Oh. Wait, I only have 12 written down right now.
Yeah, no.
Oh.
Because we're filling in the rest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say Rayman 2 has got to be on there. That was a huge game. Ooh, boy. Ooh, boy.
How many
Star
we at
Fox
right
64 we got to add.
Oh, yeah, I didn't say that one.
So we're at 14. So we need 15.
I think put F-Zero on there.
F-Zero? Yeah, people have been clamoring for an F-Zero remake, so it would be smart for Nintendo to say, well, we're not giving you a remake, but we're putting it on the N64 Classic.
And then put the first Pokemon Stadium on there. Because I think that that'll be in there. That's such a party game that has been around for a while.
It is. And so, honestly, on the list here, the other ones that jump out, right, are Kirby Crystal Shards. There's also Yoshi's Story, which was huge. I don't think they're going to be able to get Star Wars properties.
There's no way.
There's going to be one really whack game, I feel like. There's Paper Mario.
That's that snowboarding one that you were talking about. That's going to be the one that's whack.
But that was a huge game. What about... Yeah, I don't know. I'd say it's between Kirby, Yoshi's Story. It'd be funny if they got the Turok license. Or honestly, you put another Mario Party on there, or because if you double down on Mario in almost every other Classic Edition, why not double down on him here?
Okay,
we already have Mario. We have Mario Kart. Well, I guess you have 3 Mario games if you include Smash.
Well, no, that doesn't count. What's the better Mario Party sequel, Mario Party 2 or 3?
I think most people think more fondly of Mario Party 2.
Okay, well then put Mario Party 2 on the list. And then what are we at?
That's 17.
Okay, we're done.
Okay, let's do honorable mentions.
Okay, Kirby, Yoshi's Story.
Yeah, Kirby, Yoshi's Story, Mario Party 3.
Mm-hmm. Mario Golf.
Oh, Mario Golf. Oh, is there anything we can take off from Mario Golf?
We're just being realistic here.
Yeah,
man.
I know. Okay. I'm going to add... We took... What did we take off for... What were some of the sports games we took off?
We took out Excite Bike. We took out Tony Hawk.
That's... Okay. I'm adding Paper Mario to the honorable mentions, and I'm also adding Tony Hawk.
Okay.
And that's 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So that's more. That's two more than the SNES Classic, which is not going to happen.
Yeah. I think 15 to 17 is where it's going to operate.
Okay. And here's how we're going to do this bad boy.
Okay.
What's the price? Are you going $99.99 USD, or are you going higher, lower?
Because these games are so good and rare,
and I'm big. Actually they're bigger than
I'm gonna go with $129.99. 130 bones.
Okay. John says $129.99.
Yep.
Zach says
it comes with 2 controllers.
2 controllers.
Yeah, a lot of these games are multiplayer. Zach I think it's really easy to throw in an extra controller to entice people.
I'm going $99.99. 2 controllers.
Okay. The other ones only came with 1 controller, right? Or do they come with 2?
The NES came with 1. SNES came with 2.
Oh, it is? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Can you buy extra ones if you got an NES Classic? How much were those?
I think they were like $40, $30.
Okay.
Something like that.
Cool.
I don't remember them being super expensive, but definitely controller cost. Yeah. You could also use Bluetooth controllers with it.
I think for all these huge games, and especially, like the Marios and the 2 Zeldas and stuff like that, like those are massive games.
Yeah.
I think $129.99 is very reasonable. These are a lot of really well-beloved games, especially in my opinion.
Yeah.
Played a lot of them.
I mean, even if this list was cut down to 15 and you didn't include Pokemon Stadium and Mario Party 2, that's still a hell of a list.
And think about it this way. Between GoldenEye, Smash, and Mario Kart, those are the 3 possibly biggest multiplayer games of all time, especially on the N64.
For sure.
You'll find those in any college dorm in America. Like, at least one person's got their N64 there, and one of those 3 games is the one you play when you're pre-gaming.
For sure.
So I think that's got to be it. And that's exciting news coming down the pipe. I think if you got your hands on a SNES Classic and an N64 Classic, you'd be Nintendo set for all
Sitting
time.
Pretty, yeah. So that's it. That's the game, and here's how we're going to do this bad boy. I'm going to save this note.
Yeah.
It's going locked away in the cloud. When this inevitably does happen, we're going to come back to this list, and we're going to see what we got wrong. And
do you think it's possible in the future they get to a GameCube Classic?
I think that if they keep this trend up, they would... I don't know what they want to do, because
they'd stop at the Wii.
I think I honestly don't think that they would do the GameCube, because the rumors were that Switch was going to have GameCube emulation. So, honestly, maybe what happens is that they sell a disc for the Switch called the GameCube Collection or something.
Oh, okay. I like that.
And then they just put a bunch of the best GameCube games on one disc for Switch. Yeah. But that I could talk about for an hour. That's an After Dark.
Yeah.
We'll do that one after that. But
Mario Party.
Like I said, we'll come back and we'll review this topic when the N64 Classic does become a thing. And for everything we get wrong, take a shot.
Ooh.
I'm not agreeing to that. Thank you for listening to this episode of Radiovania. It's been a doozy.
Yeah,
it's been a good one.
A lot of good news out there.
Yeah, and one of my favorite shows I think we've ever done
I think so.
If you want to get in touch with the show, you can do it a myriad of ways, like I said in the very beginning. The best way to do so, though, if you want to contact us, is go to radiovania.com or search at Radiovania on Twitter. Email us at radiovaniashow@gmail.com or tweet me at Zach Rotella. Hell, I'll give you my cell phone number if you want. We'll read anything that you send to us on the air, we promise. Like, subscribe, tell a friend if you like the show, if you want to hang out, and keep your eyes out for The More You Know, because that series is going to be starting very soon, and keep your eyes peeled for more content. Do you have anything else you wanted to add to this bad boy?
I did not. It has been a pleasure talking Comic-Con with you. And,
pleasure.
Hope for the best with all things Marvel, DC coming down the pipe.
We want everything.
Marvel will be fine.
In a perfect world, we want everything to be good.
Yeah, we want it all to be good. I mean, Wonder Woman is one of my, probably up there in one of my favorite movies now. I've seen it multiple times in the theaters. It's a very rewatchable film. And in terms of all my favorite movies, those are the ones that I, watch. We'll watch over and over again. So I'm hoping that everything that continues to come out will be good.
Good.
Going forward.
All right. But that does it for episode 48 Only 2 away from 50.
We're gonna have a party. For 50.
Party like it's 1999.
We gotta think of something interesting to do for 50. Should we act like we're 50? That'd be kind of funny.
I don't know if we can keep that up for an hour and a half.
You definitely wouldn't be able to keep it up for an hour and a half.
All right, that's it. 99, folks. We'll be here all week.